Welcome to Cosmopolitan Christ Church, India. We are at Cosmopolitan Christ Church, work together with Christ to spread the gospel, nothing but God's power, which can save the spiritual lives of Indians, Americans, British, German, Russian, and the Asians throughout the globe. We are at Cosmopolitan Christ Church, India, loves to serve and accommodate struck up foreigners in India without taking a single penny. Call us for more details to the number 7386005545.
Is Israel country is blessed or obedient? Welcome back to Cosmopolitan Christ Church India live streaming. How are you all? By God's grace, by God's blessings, we are happy to be with you in the live sermons every day during this pandemic, during these lockdowns. So we are every day praying for you people who are subscribing to our channels, who are sharing our channels, and who are sharing our sermons, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church subscribers. So the days are worst, the days are dangerous, the days are dreadful. Still, God was protecting us. God was shielding us. Today's topic is the present Israel country is blessed or obedient? So, in this Israel's context, I just wanted to discuss something about our faith, our Christianity, otherwise our believership. So, as we are the believers, as we are the blessed ones, otherwise as we are in the Christianity, which one we are giving most importance while comparing with these blessings or obedience? It's not like that if we are blessed, that means we are obedient. Obedient is a different thing and blessing is different thing. Blessing comes from God and obedience comes from you. So God's blessings will not follow anything, but you have to follow God's blessings along with your obedience. Today, if you can see Israel country, couple of days back, before that, before I discuss about Israel country, I had so much of mental struggle. Otherwise, I had so much of thoughts in my mind whether to discuss about Israel country or not. But still, I feel like God was accepting me to talk about Israel country today, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church subscribers. Couple of days back, Israel country celebrated their lives that we are out of pandemic, we are out of corona, we are out of COVID. So Israel declared mask free as a mask free country. Israel declared as mask free country, and so many people had so many discussions, so many debates, and so many people told like God blessed Israel, God protected Israel, otherwise God chosen Israel, that's why Israelites are out of danger. Israel country is free of masks, free of COVID. But within 2-3 days of that celebration, Israel was under attack. Israel was attacked by their enemies, and again they are under war, and they are in the war. If you can see the situations, of present day Israel country, yes, God already told that Israel was blessed, Israelites were blessed. But today what I was thinking of discussing is the Israel country, otherwise is the Israel people are obedient to God or not? You may be a great nation, otherwise you may be having so much of scientific knowledge, otherwise you may Israel may discover so many rocket launchers, so many scientific research, otherwise produced so many scientific discoveries. Today, Jewish people, otherwise Israelites, were treated as the most intellectual race, otherwise most intellectual people around the globe, one of the wisest people in the world. But still today I just wanted to discuss about, you may be wise, you may be intellectual, you may be greatest personality, you may be a greatest nation, you may be blessed, but still, are you obedient to God or not? Are you obedient to God or not? They celebrated mosque-free Israel couple of days back, but now they are under attack. They are again into the war. Decades to decades, they are battling. They are battling with their enemies. So as a believer, as a faith personality, as a Christian, what are you choosing? Are you choosing blessing? Otherwise, are you choosing obedience? The blessings are from God, and the blessings are free of God's love, God's will, God's affection towards you. But for that love, for that affection, for that blessing, how you are humbling yourself before God, how you are obedient before Christ, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. Many people think that Israel is a Christian country, but truly otherwise. In fact, Israel is not a Christian country. Minority people in the Israel are Christians. So many people in that country will not accept Jesus Christ as a Messiah. So many people in that country will not accept Jesus Christ as the Son of God, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. But as we Indians and otherwise so many other parts of the countries, people will go to Israel as they feel that it is a holy land for Christians. It is a pilgrimage for Christians. I am not against that. Yes, Jesus Christ was born, brought up in Israel. Yes, I accept that. But apart from this traditional tourism, otherwise traditional Christianism, otherwise traditional procedures and protocols, God is talking to you right now, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church subscribers, that you must be obedient. How much blessed you are, how much intellectual personality you are, how much famous personality you are, you must humble down before God. You have to accept Jesus Christ as the Son of God. Otherwise you will be out of peace, as the Israel is not. They are well developed, they are well flourished, they are well enough in everything, and they are leading. Otherwise, so many richest countries are led by, all the leaders of the richest countries are led by these Israelite people. But still, they don't have peace of mind. Their people don't have security. Their people don't have peace in their land, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. Once, if you accept Jesus Christ alone as a God, otherwise Son of God, you have peace in your country, in your nation, in your people, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. If you go to scriptures, Deuteronomy 28th chapter, if you fully obey the Lord your God and carefully follow all His commands I give you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nation on earth. You will be blessed in the city and blessed in the country. The Lord your God will bless you in the land He is giving you. So if you see the scripture, God is talking about obeying Him. Otherwise, God is talking about to be obedient to God. To be obedient to God. God is talking about blessings. God is talking about blessings of the land, blessings of the people. But before that, if you see the scripture, if you fully obey, that is the term and condition. If you see so many products in the market, we see the packing attraction and everything, and you see so many discounts and everything. But in that discount, in the upper side, you can see a star, and in that star below, you will be having a tagline that terms and conditions apply. So the terms and conditions of the God is, if you fully obey me, then only your land will be blessed, then only your people will be blessed, then only your nation will be blessed. So now is the Israelites fully accepting God's commandments? God said that Jesus Christ is my son, and he is the representative of my kingdom, and everybody should or must come through Jesus Christ to me. But is the Israelites coming to God through Jesus Christ or not? Through Son of God or not? If you can see, majority of their population will not accept Jesus Christ as Messiah, otherwise as the Son of God. And so many people in the nation will not accept New Testament, which is a gospel. If you have if you don't have gospel, in your lives, if you don't have gospel in your nations, if you don't have gospel in your country, if you don't have gospel in your people, how you will be having a peace, how you will be having happiest lives? Otherwise, how you will be having a model life to other people, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members? That is the main problem with the Israel right now. They may be blessed, otherwise they are blessed, but they don't have peace of mind. They don't have gospel. They don't have Jesus Christ. They are not obeying God's commandments. So if you can see the crimes, people will think that Israel is the safest country, otherwise Israel is the one of the beautiful country. If you can see their lifestyles, Israel's lifestyles, they have all the crimes which we do have in our countries. They have drug trafficking, they have human trafficking, they have so many armed trafficking, everything, whatever we have as normal crimes in our countries. They are not apart from ours in these crime histories, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. You have to think about it. You must be obedient. How much blessed you are, but you have to be obedient to God. If you go to John 12th chapter, 42nd and 43rd verses. Yet at the same time, many even among the leaders believed in him, but because of the Pharisees, they would not openly acknowledge their faith for fear they would be put out of the synagogue, for they loved human praise more than praise from God. If you can see Israelite, they were being very well praised by so many nations in this world. They were praised for their knowledge, they were praised for their intellectuality, they were praised for their scientific discoveries, they were praised for their political power and all, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. And if you can see, or if you can assume, Israelites are looking forward for the human praise. They are not looking forward for the God's praise from God. They never received praise from God, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church member. As a believer, as a faith personality, you must look forward for praise from God. Praise from God. Are you getting praise from God for your works, for your faith, for your gospel? for your ministry, for your church, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. Yeah, so many people will be there to praise you. So many people in this world always will be there with us to praise us because of our ministry, because of our church, because of our hard work, because of our earnings, because of our business. But God is talking to you right now, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. You, apart from these, you should not waste your time for human praising, but you have to spend time for getting praise from God. Israel was not getting praise from God. Maybe they are blessed. Blessing is not everything, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church member. Blessing with obedience is everything, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. If you go to Proverbs 16th chapter, 7th to 10th verse, when the Lord takes pleasures in everyone's way, He causes their enemies to make peace with them. See, when the Lord takes pleasure in anyone's way, how God will take pleasure in your life. Otherwise, how God will put a pleasure in your life? If God accepts you, otherwise, if God likes you, otherwise, if God is happy for you, otherwise, if God is smiling, otherwise happy because of your gospeling, because of your ministry, because of your God's ministry. If He was happy about you, then He will put pleasure in your ways, so that He causes their enemies to make peace with them. So if you have God's pleasure in your lives, He will make your enemies to make peace with you. So if you can see Israel country right now, they don't have any peace with their enemies from decades. From decades to decade, they are battling with their enemies. They are having wars with their enemies. So you must be obedient. You should, otherwise you must get pleasure from God with your obedience, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church member. And if you go to 8th verse, better a little with righteousness than much gain with injustice. With injustice. So how are lives? How is our lives? Is our lives are injustice? Otherwise, if our actions, otherwise, if our attitudes are injustice. So God is talking to you right now. Better a little with righteousness. So with your power, with your popularity, with your backups, otherwise if your knowledge, wisdom, maybe you are going, otherwise maybe you are doing injustice to others. So instead of going for injustice with your wiseness, if you are instead of going injustice with your power, it's better to be a righteousness people without having anything, without having any worldly backups, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. And if you go to 9th chapter, in their hearts human plans their course, but the Lord established their steps. Every time we must be looking forward for the God's establishment in their steps. With our power, with our knowledge, with our wisdom, we may be doing some activities, temporary activities in our lives, in our world, in our activities, in our gospel. But every day we have to look forward for the permanent establishment of Lord's actions in our ministries, in our personalities, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. Though the activities, the gospel preaching, the gospel crusade, otherwise the church activities, what we are doing should or must attract God, so that He will establish your ministry, He will establish your faith, He will establish your church and gospel, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church member. The lips of a king speaks as an oracle, and his mouth does not betray justice. So he was talking about kings nature, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. Today we are talking about Israel country, and maybe the Israel is blessed, but the country was not obedient. So if you are blessed, do not relax. Do not relax. It's not that if you are blessed, it's not that your enemies will attack. Your enemies will attack at any point of time. So it's better you become an obedient person to Jesus Christ, so that He will establish peace permanently in your personality, in your families, in your gospels, in your ministries, in your churches, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. Do not waste time while thinking about blessing, while getting the blessing. But you have to spend time to become a obedient person to dear Jesus Christ, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. So it's time that we have to check that are we blessed or are we obedient. So if you are obedient, permanent peace, permanent happiness, permanent gospel will be established in our systems. But if you are blessed, still you have to look for your obedience in your personality, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. And with this is Kumar signing off from Cosmopolitan Christ Church live streaming, and God's willing, if God's willing, tomorrow same time I will be there along with the newer dimensional God's sermons, so that it will attract so many people throughout the globe. Now everybody is under lockdown. Everybody was suffering with this pandemic COVID, but still God allowed us, God blessed us to share the word of gospel. So you have the chance right now. So many people don't have phones, so many people don't have internets, so many people don't have access to these live streamings, but still you are blessed. So it's now time to be obedient. If you want to be obedient, please share these sermons to so many people, so that everybody will be getting blessings. So everybody will be getting peace in their lives. Everybody getting health in their lifetimes, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. As we are telling, we are ready to give these multivitamin tablets to every needy people throughout the India. And as we are telling from the first sermon itself, you may be a German, you may be a US citizen, you may be an Indonesian, Asian, whatever country you are. If you are struck up in India, we are willing to accommodate you. We are willing to support you in any part of your need, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. So be blessed, be safe, take precautions, and do not leave the hand of God. Do not forget that you must be obedient to God, dear Cosmopolitan Christ Church members. And God bless you. God bless you obediently. Thank you.
Welcome to Cosmopolitan Christ Church, India. We at CC Church work together with Christ to breathe the gospel, nothing but God's power, which can save the spiritual life of Indians, American, British, German, Russian, and Asian. Throughout the globe, we at CC Church India love the service at accommodating track up foreigner in India without taking a single penny. Call us for more details. +91 73 86 00 5545. Now Cohort Prasanna will be sharing the word of Christ, which is God's power.